YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, RAWCHAA, QADASH. Shalom to the old for elect. I would like to do a brief lesson, and this lesson is entitled Slaveships to Spaceships. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying for you brothers and you sisters out there listening. Shalom. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, it explains the blessings and also the curses of Israel. You know, the Israelites that keeps YAHAWASHI covenant will be blessed, and those Israelites who breaks his covenant will be cursed and will face severe consequences. In Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68 was one of the curses, and also a prophecy that was fulfilled. You know, we are in the conditions we are in now because Israel as a whole were and still is disobedience. So we all have to pay for the iniquity our people committed in the past and present. You know, 2/3 Israelites rebelled against YAHAWASHI. So we all have to suffer. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And it says, "And the Lord YAHAWASHI shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you." You know, the land of Israel, it borders Egypt, meaning they're connected to each other. You know, we were in captivity in ancient Egypt for 400 years. And YAHAWASHI, the Lord, our Father, He delivered us out of Egypt by cursing the Egyptians with plagues. Then He split the Red Sea, and we walked back to the promised land, which is Israel. Once again, Israel started breaking the covenant, committing iniquity again. So YAHAWASHI put us back in slavery. Slakia. Yeah, so YAHAWASHI, He put us back in slavery, you know. And, you know, Egypt and Israel is right there. It's like connected to each other. So you don't need a ship to get to Egypt. You can just walk there. So I'm going to read the verse again. I'm going to break it down. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. It says, "And the Lord YAHAWASHI shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships." And YAHAWASHI, He brought us back in captivity again in ships, actual ships, slave ships through the transatlantic slave trade. And the transatlantic slave trade, or the Euro-American slave trade, involved the transportation by slave traders of various enslaved African people, so-called African people, I should say, which were really the Israelites. You know, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So these so-called African people were traded mainly to the Americas. The slave trade regularly used the triangular trade route in its Middle Passage and existed from the 16th to the 19th centuries. Let me show you some pictures of the ships we were in. See, they had us all bundled up, all next to each other and shit, in a tight ass slave ship. Zoom in. So on top, you see the men ship, the ship for the men. Then at the bottom, you see the women. Slack is, I guess, the bottom. It had men, women, it says boys. It's the ship they had us in. Here's another picture with color. What you see is Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the Israelites. And 3 nations were a part of this transatlantic slave trade. One were the Edomites, the so-called white man. Second was the Ishmaelites, you know, the so-called Arabs. And the third was the Hamites, you know, so-called Africans. And these nations were trading amongst each other, like they were trading the Israelites like we were Pokemon cards or some shit. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3. Start at verse 1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Judah and Jerusalem is talking about 12 tribes of Israel as a whole, the southern and northern kingdom. So YAHAWASHI, he put us back in captivity. And it says, "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So YAHAWASHI, he's going to gather all these heathen nations, and he's going to judge them for scattering his children, the children of Israel, for scattering us all over the planet and taking us out of our land. And it says, "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink." You know, these heathen nations, they traded us for goods like we were some type of toy, like it's fucking Christmas. And say, "Yea, what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me of recompense. And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your head. Con. Basically, YAHAWASHI, he's going to pay you wicked heathens back. You know, you put us into slavery. Y'all asses going to slavery. And it says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Con. So these heathens, as I said, they sold us to the so-called white man, Esau Edom, and removed us from our border. And our border is Israel. You know, this is a prophecy that was fulfilled. So basically, sugar, tobacco, shit like cotton, liquor, weapons, manufactured goods, and slaves, which are the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, were traded amongst these heathen nations. Back at Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68, it says, and the Lord YAHAWASHI should bring thee into Egypt again, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Con. And what that mean, we won't see Israel again. You know, the only way we could get to Israel, we gotta get on a plane and visit, you know. And it says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And the bondmen, which means men slaves, and bondwomen, which means women slaves, who are the Israelites, were sold to America during the slave trade. And it says, and no man shall buy you, no man shall buy you. So, no man shall buy you, meaning no one shall redeem us from this captivity. This is the book of Hosea, chapter 12, verse 10. It says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Yeah, meaning YAHAWASHI, he speak to his men, who are the prophets. At this time, he spoke to the children of Israel through Moses. And the word similitudes means to be like or resemble. Back in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68, the word Egypt is a similitude. And it resembles bondage. It's the book of Exodus chapter 20, starting at verse 1. And it says, and the Most High spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord YAHAWASHI, thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Con. So the words Egypt and bondage have the same meaning. The land of Egypt is the house of bondage. And the house of bondage of today is America, you know. America is spiritual Egypt. You know, America is the modern day Egypt, you know. They follow their ways, you know. America likes to use Egypt's symbols such as the pyramid and the eagle, you know. You see that on the dollar bill today. And they follow their Egyptology ways. And when you read Egypt in the Bible, it's not always talking about America. But in some prophecies, in some cases, when it says Egypt, it's talking about America. For example, when you see Egypt in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, it's talking about ancient Egypt back then. When you see Egypt in verses like Deuteronomy 28 and 68 and Revelation 11 and 8, it's talking about America. You know, America is mystery Babylon, and to understand that, you have to do a lot of research. You know, you gotta do a lot of research after reading Deuteronomy 28 and 68 and other scriptures, and it will help you understand. You know, America is mentioned in the Bible as mystery Babylon, the great whore. What else? Babylon the great city, and also Egypt. You know, you won't see America or the United States of America mentioned in the Bible because it's a mystery, you know. Grab something real quick. This the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7. It says, surely the Lord, YAHAWASHI, power, will do nothing, but he revealeth secret unto his servants, the prophets. So YAHAWASHI, his secrets are given to his prophets, the men that's preaching his word, his knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. You know, the prophets only understand this truth. You know, not every Israelite are awake. You know, they're not woke to this truth. They don't know what's going on. You know, those men on the highways and byways and on YouTube pushing this truth, those are the men that know the secret. The men that's pushing the truth and spreading it all over the earth. And Israelites are waking up, you know. And that's the hopeful elect. But we soon get out of here, you know. That's why I titled this lesson Slave Ships to Spaceships. You know, because we in slavery right now. Slavery not over, you know. But we soon be delivered out of here. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11, starting at verse 8. And it says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. And that great city is Babylon the Great, aka America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord, where also our Lord was crucified. Yeah, America is called spiritual Sodom and Egypt because they follow Sodom and Egypt ways. You know, for example, homosexuality, you know, idolatry, you know, worshiping idols, you know, shaving your beard off, you know, that's Egypt shit, you know. They was doing that shit. These gold tees, you know, mustache. You know, they niggas get lined up at the chin, like that's old Egypt shit. Back in the scriptures it says, and they are the people and kindreds and tongues and nations. It's talking about the Israelites scattered all over the earth shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And basically what that mean, you know, the dead bodies, you know, we were spiritually asleep, you know. You know, the Israelites were spiritually dead for 3.5 days, and that 3.5 days really represents 350 days. You know, we didn't know who we were. And it says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. Yeah, and they are these heathen nations. It says, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another. Con, you know, the Israelites, we were those gifts. You know, they was passing, trading the Israelites, you know. And it says, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And it says, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet. Con. So after these amount of years, YAHAWASHI, he quickened us. He woke us up, you know. He woke our spirits up. We came back to life spiritually after 350 years. So from 1619 to 1969, which adds up to 350 years, you know, the Israelites were spiritually dead, you know. We started waking up to who we were in the late 1960s, 1969, when Abba Bibbins was around. You know, we believe Abba Bibbins is Elijah the prophet, and also John. And that's a fact. No doubt about that. And it says, and great fear fell upon them that saw them. Yeah. Heathens were scared. We started waking up, knowing our true power, YAHAWASHI. And it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. Yeah. We're going to hear come up hither in the holy tongue in Hebrew. And they, who are the Israelites, descended up to heaven in a cloud. And we know what that cloud represents. That cloud is the chariot of Israel, you know. You know, the hopeful elect, we will be beamed up into the chariots. And we will be delivered. And watch the wicked heathen nations, and also you 2/3 Israelites, burn up. So we're gonna go from here to here. From slave ships to spaceships, man. From slave ships to chariots. You know, when YAHAWASHI comes, he's gonna deliver us out the hand of the wicked. We're gonna reign forever. And we're gonna put our foots on y'all devil's neck. I just wanted to bring that out. Hope you brothers and you sisters were edified. Lord willing, till the next time, say shalom. Kwame Shala. Abba, Call Loim La, Yahawah BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM QADASH, Aman.